good evening. Thanks for joining us for the Thursday edition of Source 16 News at 10. New this hour, the Christian County Board of Education tonight approved the first reading of a proposal to rearrange bus routes for the next school year. The school district's transportation director, Mike Brumley, explains why the change was necessary.
Allow me to reroute buses to allow all students that attend County Middle to attend County High. Currently, we're not doing that. Same goes true for Hoptown Middle and Hopkinsville High School. From a busing standpoint, it's much more efficient if we do it this way. And from the student side, to me, that's not fair to ask that child to go to one middle school and then turn around and go to another high school.
As reported by Source 16, the school district previously received a lot of criticism after implementing a new policy that left students sitting on poorly air-conditioned school buses for hours at the beginning of the school year last year. Also, during tonight's meeting, the school board received an award for implementing energy-saving and cost-cutting measures. Meanwhile, Codell Construction Manager Don Dameron says the school district's new Christian County Middle School is about 70% complete, and he expects construction at the school to be finished by November. The Board of Education then went into closed session to discuss pending litigation and took no action. Well, a plant in Hopkins County today was presented the Governor's Safety and Health Award. GE Aviation in Madisonville, whose employees have worked in excess of 4.8 million hours without a lost time injury or illness, was presented the award by Kentucky Labor Cabinet Secretary Mark Brown. The award is given to employers and employees who together have achieved a specified streak of hours worked without a recordable injury or illness. GE Aviation employs 650 workers and manufactures turbine airfoils. The death of a Christian County jail inmate is being investigated. According to jailer Brad Boyd, 58-year-old William Ray Bowling was taken to Jenny Stewart Medical Center where he was pronounced dead around 2:15 this morning. Boyd says jail deputies were with inmate Bowling when he went into cardiac arrest about 1:45 this morning and performed CPR and used an automated external defibrillator on him until paramedics arrived at the jail and took over medical treatment. Kentucky State Police are conducting a death investigation but do not suspect any foul play in the inmate's death. Bowling was a Department of Corrections inmate serving a 3-year sentence for probation violation and had been housed at the jail since April 13th. The cause of a fire that destroyed a vacant Madisonville home and damaged 2 other homes late last night is being investigated. The Madisonville Fire Department responded to a vacant house fire at 244 Park Avenue around 11:44 last night and found flames coming out of the rear of the structure. Firefighters battled the blaze to get the house fire contained and also extinguished a fully involved car in an attached carport. Chief Stephen Stoltz told Source 16 that the vacant home, a rental property owned by Wilma Rogers, was completely gutted and 2 homes adjacent to the property sustained heat damage from the fire. Firefighters remained on the scene until around 2:30 this morning. Hopkinsville Christian County emergency management teams and local law enforcement officials are one step closer to preparing for the worst. Early this morning, officials conducted a hazmat training at the DeBow Recreational Complex located on North Drive.
We're going to do a hazmat and anhydrous ammonia leak, and which would affect all the area around it. We're going to try to have the fire department hazmat team take care of that leak while the other responders would actually be evacuating or getting people to shelter in place, that type of thing.
Meanwhile, Christian County Emergency Director Randy Graham told Source 16 the reason why he felt the exercise was important.
Well, these exercises give all the responders an opportunity to have a live, real-life experience with an event that potentially could happen, and it gives all them that opportunity to actually come out, put on the suits for the hazmat team, and then the other responders that would be assisting them gives them an opportunity to work with that hazmat team to see what we would actually do in a real-life event.
Graham says he hopes the hazmat training is conducted annually to help officials prepare when disaster strikes. Murder charges against a former Fort Campbell soldier may soon be dropped. According to reports, after 4 mistrials and a failed conviction, Brent Berg may walk away as a free man. Commonwealth prosecutor Chris Shaw reportedly sent Comer's daughter a letter in the mail stating he planned to file a motion to dismiss charges on Tuesday. It's unclear at this time what motivated Shaw to drop the charges against Burke. Court records indicate Burke's defense attorney, John Shaughnessy, says prosecutors failed to link any physical evidence from the crime scene back to his client. As Source16 reported previously, Burke was charged with the 2007 double murders of his estranged wife, Tracy Burke, and her former mother-in-law, Karen Comer, at her Rineyville residence. Meanwhile, a Fort Campbell soldier who was classified as a conscientious objector to the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq because of his Muslim faith is now facing multiple child pornography charges. 20-year-old Private First Class Nasser Abdo is accused of having 32 images of child pornography on his computer. According to military documents provided to Source16 today, Abdo was charged on May 13th after an investigation revealed between February 21st and March 27th of 2010, he wrongfully and knowingly possessed 34 digital images of child porn. Fort Campbell officials say because Abdo is pending court-martial for possession of child pornography, his discharge will not be approved until all disciplinary actions have been resolved. In addition, Fort Campbell officials say the U.S. Army lives and breathes 7 core values which run contrary to the charges that the Private First Class now faces. A second arrest has been made in connection to some recent burglaries in Graves County. Graves County Sheriff Dwayne Redmond reports that 20-year-old Bradley Watkins of Mayfield was apprehended this morning at a friend's house on West Broadway. The first arrest was made in the case Friday when police apprehended 25-year-old Lisa Taylor of Mayfield after she and 2 other suspects, believed to be Watkins and his brother, fled on foot from a stolen vehicle in southern Graves County. During the investigation, information was revealed that Taylor, Bradley Watkins, and his brother Corey were also involved in the burglaries at J&M Mart in Kaler and the Priorsburg Market. Sheriff Redmond reports Watkins also admitted to breaking into the Simpsonia 4-way grocery as well as being in possession of at least 4 stolen vehicles in the past few weeks. Watkins is charged with 2 counts of burglary, criminal mischief, theft by unlawful taking over $500, and other offenses. At this time, his brother Corey Watkins remains at large, but police believe he is still in the area. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Sheriff's Office at 270-247-4501 or Crime Stoppers at 270-247-5000. Meanwhile, area authorities are on a manhunt for a Graves County man who police consider a dangerous individual. Graves County Sheriff Dwayne Redmond reports authorities are looking for 38-year-old Charles Rogers Jr. of Mayfield for felony warrants for sex abuse charges and thefts. The sheriff says Rogers is involved in at least 2 burglaries in Graves County since April 21st and has been in Mayfield as recently as last Friday. Rogers is also facing possible charges for forgery in Indiana and McCracken County and auto theft in Tennessee. Police are also concerned that his daughter, 20-year-old Chelsea Nicole Rogers, is in danger. She was last seen with him last Friday and has been reported missing and endangered. Sheriff Redmond reports Chelsea has a medical condition that requires medication, and it was reported that she did not have it with her the last time she was seen in Mayfield. Police do not know if she was forcibly taken or left willingly. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Graves County Sheriff's Office immediately. U.S. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell will meet with local elected officials and law enforcement officers from South Central Kentucky tomorrow in Bowling Green to discuss the 2 terror suspects. As we previously reported, Senator McConnell on Tuesday took to the Senate floor and called on the Obama administration to send the terror suspects, 30-year-old Walda Wan and 23-year-old Mohonad Ahmadi, to the secure detention facility at Guantanamo Bay rather than being tried in a federal courtroom in Kentucky. Over the course of 8 years, Acting Assistant Attorney General for National Security Ton Hennon says Alwan and Ahmadi admitted to supporting efforts to kill U.S. troops overseas by constructing and placing improvised explosive devices in Iraq and by sending money and weapons from the United States to insurgents in Iraq. If convicted of the 23 counts of federal terrorism charges, the Iraqi nationals face life in prison. Well, several Hopkinsville homes located on Bryan and Stanley Streets were renovated thanks to the hard work of a Frankfort-based organization. Kentucky YMCA member Ben Reno Weber explains why it was important for his organization to get involved in community service.
Well, so our whole organization is focused around the creation of servant leaders, the development of servant leadership in Kentucky's young people. So we run programs like the Kentucky Youth Assembly and the Kentucky United Nations Assembly that are really about the ideas of civic engagement. They're really about going into schools and talking with young people about the voice that they have in their community and in their world. But the other piece of that is really about taking that voice and translating it into action. So each of the students that's here, in order to participate in this program, had to do 50 hours of community service in their communities and raise $500 in order to participate in this program. But it's really very much about, okay, so you talk about these things that you're passionate about, you talk about being a part of the civic community, and here's a chance to really go out and get your hands dirty.
The Kentucky YMCA members were only in Hopkinsville for today. Many children struggle with learning how to deal with their emotions in conflict, but one Western Kentucky school is working to teach kids how to handle conflict situations. Here's Michelle Herron with more.
It's not what you say, but it's how you say it in your actions when you do it.
A concept many kids struggle to understand.
Sometimes what we think is happening is really not what's going on.
And Madisonville Police Sergeant Robert Carter helps elementary kids develop conflict resolution skills.
First thing we do is stop. Next thing we do is move. Next thing we do is listen. Then we do what? Respond.
It's all a part of West Broadway Elementary School's Peace Camp, a place that teaches kids how to express their emotions.
For the kids to know how to deal with different conflicts and use different techniques, and that it will help in the classroom, and it helps them to be role models for students next year, and it helps them just personally in their own conflicts.
Essential skills, Sergeant Carter says, is best taught through role modeling.
We try to make sure that information, number one, is important. Number two, is short enough for their attention spans. And number three, practical, that they can actually use it.
It actually gets kids out from behind the desk and engaged, a technique different from some of those used in the classroom.
Now, friends, it sounds so easy as you sit here in this room.
But then it gets harder.
It gets a lot harder.
Because you can give a person tools, but if they don't use those tools, they're ineffective.
Michelle Herron, Source 16 News.
Now, this is the 5th year West Broadway Elementary has held Peace Camp.